Hey everyone, it's Jeremy McDonald with the McDonald Mortgage Team. I'm here also with Sean Rogers from Cardinal Mortgage and James Addy as well up in the DC metro area, DMV Mortgage Dude. Sean, I believe that your microphone is muted.
There we go.
So guys, do you want to introduce yourself real quick? Sean, you go first.
Sure. This is Sean Rogers, based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Mortgage loan officer, branch manager. Um, what I primarily do, I work with. I like to work with the underserved community as far as challenged credit, challenged income. It's more of a pleasure I get when I get them to the closing table, right, as opposed to your paper borrowers. Of course, I work with those too, but it's kind of my specialty. Everything from your like I said, your low credit scores, challenge credit, manual underwrites. I'm really good at manual underwrites, amongst other things. And today I'll be discussing tools we'll need to be successful during this mini crisis we're going through right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. We appreciate that. James, you're up. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, my name is James Addy and I'm with Fidelity Direct Mortgage. I'm based in Fairfax, Virginia, just outside of DC, and I service DC, Maryland, and Virginia. What we're going to be covering today, or what my portion will be on, is ways to stay productive at home. Some of the tips that we should be taking into accountability while we try to continue on with our life through this unfortunate time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. Okay, so kind of just a quick market recap, where rates are, what the forecast is for the next 30 days. Right now, based on where like the MBSs are trading, which is the mortgage-backed securities, so we're seeing the 2.5 mortgage bond trading for as high as 104 basis points, which would indicate that we should be seeing interest rates at about 2.5 to 2.75% for your well-qualified buyers. Obviously, we're not seeing that, and that's because so much of the unpredictability, the concerns with forbearance. So there's a lot of things that are weighing in there, and then also capacity issues with lenders. So capacity issues, what that means is because the rates did drop so much and are even still incredibly low, so many people have decided to refinance. There's been a boom in that. So there were more applications submitted for refinancing than what any of the lenders really had the capacity to handle. So that too has caused interest rates just to be a little bit higher to slow down that process. So we all kind of know that once we get on the other side of this coronavirus and the economy gets back to normal, that we're going to see rates drop to the low threes and even into the twos. So that's kind of our expectation. Looking forward, in the next 30 days, rates are going to continue to kind of level out. So this week, we've seen a lot more of just kind of like a flat line for the most part with some little bumps in it, where the past 3 weeks, month, however long, because every day runs together. I mean, if you looked at the rate charts, I mean, it's insane. There's been more volatility than there's really ever been. So we're seeing it flatten out. So hopefully in the next 30 days, we're going to see that, not only continue to be flat, but level down to where it should be. Anyone that follows me on social media or James and Sean has definitely seen us talking about, minimum credit scores going up. So like Sean with his company, their minimum credit score right now is a 620. James is at a 640. I'll say I still have options under that, but they're next to impossible to get done. So in a way, it's somewhat deceitful, I will say, because as an example, I had someone that wanted me to rescue a FHA manufactured home deal of someone with a 605 credit score. Technically, I can do the loan, but it would require almost a 5-point discount to get any rate on the rate sheet. One of the things that FHA requires is that when you're talking about your APR, that you fit into a certain bucket. And if you're past that bucket, then it becomes a high price mortgage loan, and nobody does those. So yeah, they're saying, hey, we can do this loan for you, but the reality is when you throw on 5 points on a loan, it's not going to pass that high price loan limit. So really 620 is truly the bottom. We've also seen with, debt ratios, those have increased. Before with FHA, very, very common. You have a decent buyer and you can go up to a 55, 56 debt ratio. VA technically didn't have a cap on debt ratios. So, I've seen stuff crazy like in the 60s with a very well qualified buyer. Now you're definitely capped at 50 no matter what. If you're having someone that, under 660 or 680, a lot of times to get above 45% debt ratio, they're now having to have multiple months in reserves. So it's a different market. It's temporary, but it's definitely different. We've also seen this week and even some last week, quite a few lenders either A, stop taking applications point blank period, in the example of like new res, or suspending government loans. So like Wells Fargo has pretty much suspended effectively their government lending, as well as PennyMac, and quite a few other large lenders as well. We're going to continue to see that tighten up. So one of the most careless things that our federal government has done is the CARES Act. So the CARES Act, which was part of that $2 billion or $2 trillion stimulus, was intended to help people that are in need of forbearance and that truly have a need. Well, the wording in that makes every lender have to give forbearance just because someone asked for it. So where forbearance has always been around, you had to qualify for it. So basically the CARES Act took away the qualification. So what we're seeing is experts, in the servicing field estimate that 20% of all borrowers will apply for forbearance. And that is a massive, massive fear. And that is going to put numerous servicers and lenders completely out of business. When you have 20% of your portfolio not making payments, and on government loans, even when the customer don't make the payment, the servicer still has to remit the principal and interest to Ginnie Mae. And they still have to take the taxes and insurance and put that into an escrow account. So they're not only not getting paid by the borrower, but they're also having to remit payments to Ginnie Mae that they're not making. So as you can see, like that's scary to even think about that. Now, what's really scary is that with this CARES Act and the whole forbearance issue, forbearance is not deferment. So when you defer like a student loan, it's you're not making payments, they're not accruing as far as like you owe a whole bunch of payments at one point in time. What will happen in that scenario is they're basically being added to the back of the loan. So that's not what forbearance is, that's deferment. So with forbearance, what the government has required all lenders to do is to offer a 90-day forbearance. So you're going to have 3 months worth of payments that the client is not going to have to make. Then on month 4, they owe all 3 of those payments plus that 4th month. So if they had a $1,000 mortgage, come month 4, they owe $4,000. If they don't make that payment, they're going to be 120 days late on their mortgage. Which is going to trigger a list pendants and the start of foreclosure proceedings if they can't make that payment. Now, obviously, that's a huge deal. And for someone that truly has lost their job, they're getting unemployment, they don't have the ability to pay their mortgage, they can apply for a modification. Modification is typically going to come in the form of that deferment, taking those payments and putting them on the back of the loan. But they have to legitimately have a need for it. So with the government telling lenders or servicers, hey, you have to give people that don't need it, just anyone that asks for it, forbearance. When it comes due and those people have spent that money on Amazon or whatever the heck, DoorDash, and they can't make those 4 payments, it's going to be a very bad situation. However, there's opportunity for you realtors, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do and start implementing each day that's going to keep you productive and build good habits. So with that, James, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate that. And that insight was amazing. I've heard quite a bit about forbearance and how that pertains, to our current situation. So I appreciate you kind of going in depth on that. So with staying productive, we're all used to having a very busy life. I know myself personally, living here in the DMV area, most of the time after waking up early, getting a workout in, I'm stuck facing an hour of traffic just to go 5 or 10 miles, right, here in the DMV area. So now, everyone's had the opportunity to work from home for a few weeks now. We're starting to see a little bit more people get out and about, but as you know, we're supposed to remain quarantined. So, while here in the house, I have just a couple tips, to help you continue to remain productive, stay on task, and also get your work done. So with all that being said, one of the first tips I'd like to start off by sharing is, pretend like it's a regular day, right? If you were going to wake up, traditionally not taking COVID or quarantining into accountability, what do? You wake up in the morning, maybe you have a morning routine. Some people that could be reading a book or journaling, other people that could be getting some exercise. Continue to do those things. Try to keep things as normal as possible. Although the nation is kind of in an uproar right now because of what's going on, doesn't mean that your specific plan has to change. So I would say continue with your current morning rituals. The next thing I'll start to say is, working from home does have its advantages. Myself, I like to try to stay active. So, for my lunch breaks, I've been going out, getting a run in, but staying productive also means staying focused. So if every few, hours you have to take a break, something that you need to do, to keep yourself on task, by all means. That could be something from taking the dog on a walk, stopping and having a real lunch like you normally would, or even getting your exercise midday. The third thing I'd like to share is remaining comfortable. For the most part, I've been doing a lot of video conferences with some of my clients and my partners. As much as most people are used to seeing me in a suit a lot from day to day, I've been here at home comfortable. Definitely want to be a business professional, especially if you plan on meeting with some clients or, your partners while, using the video conference professional as possible. I know today I'm wearing a Nike t-shirt. That's probably not the best example, but for the most part, I think that could really be helpful. Something I've personally been having a problem with, and I want to share with a couple of you guys, because I don't know how you feel about it, is just because my refrigerator is probably like 15 to 20 feet away, pretend like it doesn't exist throughout the day. We don't want to come out on the other side of this thing when we go to put on our professional attire, not being able to fit anything, right? So the refrigerator might be there, all the other distractions of the home, but just remain focused on your work. Something I've done, which has been really helpful to me, is after I make my morning coffee in the morning, I fill up my Hydro Flask with water and I have it ready. I'm limiting the amount of times I'm leaving in front of the computer. While you're at home, you're thinking, I may be able to do laundry. Let me go run this errand. Let me go run that errand. But if you step away for too long, it kind of throws a wrench in your day. And now, the day that you had planned had gone out of whack. The last thing I'm going to touch base on is scheduling. I know a lot of us talk about time blocking, how that could help you be more productive throughout your day, but you got to stick to it. You're having some meetings or some calls, write them down. Make sure you're not late. What's going to be your excuse now, knowing all you have to do is click a button and be in a meeting with someone, right? So with that being said, make your schedule, stick to it, and stay on your high priority value targets. And I'd say that's pretty much it from my side, Jeremy, in terms of tips and ways I think you can kind of keep things normal while we go through this unprecedented time.
Thank you, James. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And I, of course, agree. And, one thing for those of us that have kids, I would say is, making sure that you set ground rules with your kids, letting your kids know, like, hey, look, just because mom or dad is here, I still have a job to do. Like have food on the table, so I have to do my job. So, setting a dedicated spot in your home that is your work area and like letting the kids know, hey, from these hours, like you do your thing, I'm in here while mom or dad is in here, it's work time. So, but yeah, absolutely. It's a great time to start putting those good habits into place. So, with that and with just kind of knowing, as an agent, you're probably not showing a fraction of the houses that you were showing a month ago. So with that being the case, and you're not having those showings, you have more time at home to do more things to help build your business, to help, get you, prepared to succeed. So the different tools that you need to win. So now I'm going to pass it over to Sean. So, for those of you just joining the call, Sean and I used to work together here in Jacksonville at Carrington Mortgage. And Sean's done some great, training and coaching with the Legion of Loan Officers, which they really specialize in, online marketing and lead generation, social media stuff. So Sean's going to take over now and kind of go over some different tools to help you win. So you definitely want to have a piece of paper to write this stuff down.
Awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you. All right. So let's dive right into it. First things first, I know we've all have been stuck at home for going on a couple of weeks now, and it's time for us to embrace technology. It's time for us to embrace this new world that we're in right now. Face-to-face meetings may be off for a bit, right? But the good thing is we all have tools now that we can utilize to stay in front of our customers, stay in front of our database, and stay in front of our prospects. Because as we all know in sales, is that if you don't keep your face, your brand, your message in front of people, they're going to forget about you. This is just how humans are, right? So the goal is, we're going to talk about here shortly, is just how we can stay in front of our audience, how we can capture and captivate our audience, and make sure that they're actually getting our message. That's one of the biggest parts too, because sometimes we may send things to our people and we just don't get it. So the first thing we'll dive into is your buyer and seller consults. Now, there are a lot of tools right now that we can use to get in front of our potential buyers when we're doing first interviews, buyer, seller consultations. Zoom meeting is a great way to stay in front and to be able to talk to them and show them certain things. Share your screen with them also. If a lot of us don't have the technology to do so, right? If we can't operate Zoom or we don't want to use it, we can use FaceTime and or Skype. Okay, one or the other. FaceTime, of course, is easy to use as long as the other user has an iPhone. Skype, that's possible too with Android devices if they don't have an iPhone. Okay, both of those can be used on either platform. Now, let's dig into your CRM. Now, most of the realtors that I deal with on a daily basis, they have their own specialized CRM. Either it's Big Purple Dot, Lion Desk, Salesforce, or whatever it might be. Many of these CRMs operate the same way. As far as your recent contacts, you've got your recently closed and funded. You've got your guys that are 30, 60, 90 days out or haven't gotten pre-approved yet or kind of, on the fences. Being that we're in this downtime, it's a good idea to kind of go through your CRM. And what I would personally do, if you aren't already doing this, set up your text campaigns, set up your call campaigns, okay? Go through each lead that you may have. Either it's somebody in the past you've closed already, your shoppers, guys that are in maybe credit repair that can't buy yet, or whatever prospects you may have, or whatever bucket they may be in for you. I would go through there, and if you aren't already doing this, it's very key. You need to generate text messages for them. Most CRMs that I deal with have auto texts that go out. For example, with what I use now, when I have an incoming lead or an incoming prospect, they get an intro email, intro phone call, intro ringless voicemail, right? To make sure I'm hitting them multiple ways. If they're kind of introverted people, they may not answer the phone. That's okay. I'll text you and I'll email you. We need to make sure that these texts and these emails, though, are actually good emails or good texts that'll generate a response. Because we don't want to send out multiple text messages. We'll be spamming them, and we don't want to go down that road. And they'll just block our number, right? So we need to make sure that the texts are somewhat personalized, and make sure that it's kind of directed towards where they are in the process with you and themselves, right? Now, there's two tools that breaks down the barrier. That breaks down the barrier of it being impersonal. So I know I get a lot of text spam messages, spam emails, and you can tell that these aren't really geared towards me as a whole. They're kind of generalized messages, want me to buy or try out their product, right? So there's two tools that I like to use. It's MailChimps and BombBomb. Now, I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to go through MailChimp really quick. Let me see if I can figure this out. Um, let's share. I have 4 screens here. Let's share this screen. Here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope.
No? Okay. How about now? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. So this is MailChimp. So what MailChimp does, it doesn't just send out basic emails for you. What MailChimp does, it gives you a personalized, customized template for each of your, I would say, type of prospect that you're dealing with. So let me go back to the main screen here. Bear with me here. Okay. So with MailChimp, it's more of a marketing CRM, and this would act as an additional CRM, so it could get somewhat confusing. But what it does, it helps you with your social media posting, also makes landing pages for your business, also can help you write surveys or new forms. All right. Now, one big thing is the audience finder. This is huge right here. This is huge. So usually with Facebook's algorithms, usually what you're going to find is that the audience that it's getting to potentially could be the same guys over and over and over again when you're doing your social media marketing. And also when you're posting your items on your personal pages or your realtor pages, you're not doing it as an actual ad. You know, your ad is only going to be seen by, let's say you have 1,000 friends. 400 may see them because Facebook doesn't show you or doesn't show them your ad because you may not interact with their post or vice versa. So when you post these ads to your page or whatever you may have, it doesn't reach everyone. But when you do an actual ad through Facebook, this helps you duplicate the audience. Okay, so you can see more. So more and more folks can see what you're offering, what you're selling, or what products you have, and things like that. Okay. Now you don't have to be too terribly tech savvy to work MailChimp. It's relatively point and click. It's not too hard at all. And once again, this can be a separate CRM. And what I don't want people to do is have 3 or 4 different CRMs because they can be somewhat confusing. From what I understand, this one I think may not be able to brand with or communicate with certain CRMs. All right. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It depends upon who it uses. There are other integrations like, okay, so this one works with Salesforce. I see that, and a few other items. With scheduling, there's a few that it may actually communicate with. Okay. But it just depends upon exactly what you use and what your company uses. But this is a good tool to help you build emails instead of just a basic text-based email. Those really won't get seen, right? Your HTML emails that have graphics and fonts and all that, designs and whatnot, those are the ones that are going to get seen. Those are the ones that are going to get read. They're going to spend time on this email, and after they show, eventually they'll eventually call you, hopefully, right? The next one is BombBomb. Now, BombBomb, I think it takes the blandness out of the email. When you open an email from me or one of my partners, you're going to see me. You're going to see my face telling you about my product, my widgets that I'm selling, whatever it is, right? The good thing about BombBomb, when you get an email from the BombBomb database, what's going to happen is on the email preview, you're going to have a GIF, right? GIF, whatever you call it. You're going to get a GIF, and it's going to be a 3-second preview of the video that you record, right? So instead of us recording, certain talks from our cell phones on Facebook Live, right? Remember, on Facebook Live, you're only reaching your friends list, your current database to a certain extent. And sometimes most folks aren't really going to listen to you anyway. When you do it through BombBomb, it's going to go out to your entire database, okay? And it's going to be a personalized video with reporting. So you can see who's going to open up your email. You're going to see who's responding to your email, right? And you can customize these videos also. Once again, these BombBomb emails, they can be posted to Facebook, Facebook Messenger, and if I'm not mistaken, these can be texted also. Don't hold me to that. I'll have to find out and verify. But once again, the BombBomb emails have a stronger open rate as opposed to standard emails with just a picture and some graphics. Okay, so and let me take a look at BombBomb. The pricing for BombBomb is too terribly bad, and I think they may have some free options. Let's take a look here. And if I'm not mistaken, some CRMs and some companies may offer this already. So the basic one here is $30 a month, and then here's one that's billed annually at $588, $588 for the year, which works out to be about what, $50 a month. But from what I understand, the basic plan may be decent for a lot of our people. You shouldn't have to pick up the individual plan at $50 a month. This one should be okay. And I'm sorry. And back to MailChimp. There's a free MailChimp option, but it doesn't have all the features that you may need in your business. Okay. But once again, BombBomb is a really good tool to get your emails opened and to get your message out there, without having to go see the customer while we're all locked inside. Okay. The last thing I want to touch on, or two things, are the Zoom happy hours. Now, I've been seeing this a lot, and I think it's hilarious. Our way of life has changed so much over the past 3 or 4 weeks that, we work our butts off Monday through Friday, and when Friday afternoon comes at 3, 4 o'clock, we're at the bar, kicking back a few, hanging out with our friends and family and our customers, or whatever have you, and we're putting them back and enjoying ourselves and getting all the stress out from the work week, right? And we can't do that anymore because we can't go out to the bars, right? So what I've seen, a lot of people doing the Zoom happy hours. So they get on Zoom or on FaceTime or Skype, and they all kick back at their house or outside on their patios and have a couple of cocktails, and everybody talks amongst themselves. This can be a good way for us to communicate with our customers, okay, and communicate with our cohorts in the business, right? It keeps the bond and the camaraderie going also, and we can kick back and maybe not talk shop, right? If we're just on a line with our realtor friends, our business partners, our title agents, our realtors, our credit repair people, we may not have to talk shop the entire time, but it's a good way to get us all together in one virtual room and kind of get, kick back and share ideas. As far as inviting your customers to a Zoom happy hour, tread lightly. And I say that in the legal sense, being that these Zooms, sometimes I think it may auto record, it may record, I'm not sure. And I think you can set it to where it doesn't record, but you're going to have people that are maybe drinking, and, we can't sign a contract or do anything legal while you're under the influence of alcohol. That contract will be null and void, right? So just make sure that when we go down that road, we're careful dealing with the customers. If we have a customer-based happy hour or customer appreciation happy hour, just kind of make sure we're careful with that. But once again, that's a good way for us to stay in front of our teammates and in front of our community. And that would definitely work. The last thing I want to touch on, thank you cards. Now, since I've been home, I have checked my mail once a day. Before all this, I checked my mailbox once a month, right? Now it's something you do. I get to go outside and do something, right? So I go check the mailbox every day, and I haven't seen an influx, and I don't know why, from a marketing standpoint, an influx of more ads being or more flyers being sent to my box, because everybody that's home now, I think they're checking their mail a lot more as opposed to uh, what they did before all this started. Like I said, I was checking mail either once a week or once a month, and it was always full, and I always have to go to the post office to get my mail because my box was so full, right? So I would work on your thank you cards for all your past customers, and it's a good idea if you have the time, to handwrite these cards, make it somewhat personable and of course legible. I have horrible handwriting, so I'm not going to do that. I'll let my wife handle that. But do what you can to make it legible. Do what you can to include maybe a CMA with some of these cards. That's a possibility. Let them know what the market's doing around them as far as where they want to buy, or if they're looking to sell. Do this for your prospects too. Don't just focus on your guys that are currently either in process or shopping for a house. Do it for your current prospects too, if you have their mailing address. Do it for all that, and I think that we should get a higher response rate for people that are at home right now with access to their mailbox. I think next week I'm going to send out a mailer, a mass mailer probably to a few of my to a few leads that I may have here, and see how that works out. I'm not too terribly sure, but we'll have to cross that bridge when I get to it. But outside of that, thank you cards can be a really good hit for you guys if you have the time and the resources to handle that. And I think that wraps up what I wanted to talk about. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. Do you just want to go down the screen share and hit stop?
There we go. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So, the next 30 days is really important, not just for the next 30 days, but really for the next 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. So, kind of like how we talked a little bit earlier, you're not going out and showing as many properties. So now is a time to really just, button everything up, get everything really tight. So you want to focus the next week kind of on some homework. So, make sure that your branding of yourself is uniform across Facebook, both your personal, your business page, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your website, everything. If you want to rebrand yourself, update logos, slogans, business cards, flyers, all those things, now is the time to do that. For sale signs, open house signs, all of your marketing, this is a perfect time to spend a little extra time on that and make sure that 30 days from now, all of that is beautiful and it's all very much buttoned and tightened up together. Website, if you don't have a website, this is a great time to get a website. This is a great time to really start working on your marketing. So, making sure that you're sharing good content on social media, that you're sharing positive content, definitely stay positive. And you guys know, some of my posts are very much doom and gloom, but it's bringing the reality and the situation of what is going on in the industry right now, because there's so much bad information. So be someone that puts good information out there, but positive information. So looking at, there was an article that just came out today from NAR talking about that, most sellers and most realtors believe that, the people that would have put their house on the market for this spring selling and buying season are still going to do it. It's just going to be delayed. So it's a delay. It's not lost. So when the faucet gets turned back on and the country goes back to work, there's going to be so much business and you have to be ready to capitalize on it. So you have to have built those good habits now so that when you have an influx of people that can buy, that can sell, that want to buy, that want to sell, that you've built the habits to be able to manage that business. You want to make sure that each week you're following up with your past clients and your leads. Now, when you're following up with your past clients, this is really, really important. So please make sure that you really think about this. So Fannie Mae, of course, announcing that, Fannie and Freddie, that, for the people that are given the forbearance that quite frankly don't need it or did not qualify for it, but because of the CARES Act, when those 4 payments come due and they can't make 4 payments at one time, and because they still have a job, they don't qualify for deferment or they don't qualify for a modification, they're going to be faced with being 120 days late on their mortgage, having a list pendants, and then a foreclosure. They are going to be given an option to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. With that being said, now would be a great time to start reaching out to asset managers to see if you can get listings for those properties that lenders will take back. That is going to happen. When you're reaching out to your past clients over the next 7 days, explain to them what forbearance is. If you don't have a good understanding on that, email any of us. Go to my Facebook. I posted yesterday a pretty long post about it, even with a graphic that I made kind of showing how it impacts people. But let them know, like, hey, look, if you do forbearance and you legitimately shouldn't have, because you still have a job, you still have income, we get it that you're scared, but this is the situation you put yourself in. So either A, you need to save your mortgage payment for the next 3 months so that you can make for it one time, or B, this isn't your forever home, right? Let's go get you your forever home. So then that approach is, hey, you are going to owe 4 payments. Are you going to be able to make those at one point in time? No. Okay. So here is a comparative market analysis for your home. Since you bought it 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, it's went up $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. So how about we go ahead and get your house on the market now, next month? How about we get your house on the market so that we have your house sold and closed on that home before you make a payment? And then we have you in your new home where you're not going to make payments for 45 to 60 days, depending on when we close. So you took that 3-month window of no payments and potentially extended that out to 5 to 6 months. And it got you a sale and a purchase. So whether or not you give them the information of, hey, this is forbearance, this is what's going to happen, and they decide to keep that money and save it so they can make those payments, or if they go, all right, I'm going to sell my house and let's go find another one. Either way, you're the hero in that. If you inform them of that information that is keeping them from having a short sale, having a foreclosure, having a deed in lieu, they're going to tell people about you and how amazing you are, and you're going to get business from that. If they sell and buy, then you just got 2 deals. So it's a win-win situation for you. You come off as being someone that's educating, that's carrying them, and as an expert and master of your industry. So now is really the time. I'll even encourage you to reach out to some of the older agents that are at your brokerage and kind of talk to them about it, like, hey, if you want to give me a list of your past clients, if you don't want to follow up with them, if you don't want to call them and talk to them about forbearance and what's going on, I will. And hey, if I get a listing from it, how about we split it 50-50, 20-75, whatever you work out with them. But that's an opportunity to get a lot of business. That's an opportunity to get more listings, to get more buyers, and to really make 2020 your best year yet. Also, as most of you know, each one of us, myself, Sean, and James, we're all in some type or multiple types of coaching. So, I talked a little bit earlier that Sean, has been part of the Legion of Loan Officers. James and myself are both currently members in the core, which does mortgage and real estate coaching. I also am an assistant in the Tom Ferry coaching. And then James and myself, we actually met at a mortgage coaching conference up in PA back in October. We all are heavy believers that, no matter how talented you are and how skilled you are, you still need a coach. So with that, one of the things that Tom Ferry's doing, which, honestly, like if I was a realtor, I would pay $1,400 a month to do the Tom Ferry coaching. It's worth it. But he's realized that your 2020 business plan that you came into this year with, man, that's out the door. this is a pandemic, it's a completely different environment, and you have to be agile and you have to be able to adjust to what's going on. So with that, he's doing a new coaching series called Pivot. You can actually sign up for it. It's month to month. It's a 3-month, 4-month series, $99. I encourage everyone to sign up for it, but I kind of do have all of his materials. So with me having all of his materials, let's take a look at them. So he's doing a lot on the virtual, both buyer consults, listing presentation, you know, all of that sort of thing. So, you know, looking at this is a sample of his virtual buyer consultation materials, and it's called Pivot. So, and I'm going to put this in the comments. I'm actually putting it in the comments right now. It should be there in the comments. Let me know if it's not. But you know, you want to take this and kind of use this when you're doing your buyers consults, whether you're doing them on Zoom or Skype or however. But you know, looking at it, preparing for the pre-appointment, you know, sending the video conference link, you know, having your buyer's guide, your sample documents, questions, everything that you have now, just follow digital and try to do it in as few, you know, documents as possible. You know, at the appointment, making sure to discuss the agenda for the meeting, what you're going to be doing. Be the educator, be the master of your field. This is going to separate you from everybody else. So, you know, reviewing the intro and paperwork, you know, asking if they purchased before or even tried to purchase before, what that experience was like, you know, was it pleasant? Not, why is that? You know, if you have a resume or a hit list or a brag sheet or whatever you want to call it, you know, let them have that. Discussing financing, I'm sorry. That should, of course, be, if you're in Florida, me. If you're in, James, what states do you got? I think he's on mute. So James,
yep, Virginia, Maryland, and DC.
Okay. And then basically the rest of the country, Sean has, he sucks, we hate him. So, you know, me and James got a few states, Sean's got the rest, but getting them over, getting them pre-qualified, you know, discussing the fact that they do need to talk to a mortgage expert. And now it's more important than ever that they're talking to a mortgage expert and not just a banker or someone down at the credit union that gets paid $12 an hour. Lending guidelines are literally changing every single day. And now it's more important than ever that they are talking with an expert. So finding out, of course, what their needs are, what it is that they want, you know, a lot of the things that you normally do, just doing it virtually. Setting up time to take virtual tours of homes that they picked out with you, you know, getting that actual pre-approval. So, you know, this is a sample presentation package. So if you don't have one, you need to make one. Canva.com is great for doing things like this. This would be very simple and easy to make in Canva. I would assume that most of your brokerages already offer something like this. Please just, you know, customize it to the way that it should be for you. But, you know, having that about me, the reasons that you're separated from other agents. Going over the home buying process, the mortgage process, and really just getting them educated about it. And even if they're in a position where they've got a 600 or they've got a 580 and they can't buy right now, that's okay. Get them to credit repair, whether, you know, Danielle Clayton or C. Winston, Kai, whoever it is, get them with someone that can get their credit ready and build that pipeline. So the 10 commandments of home loans, very, very important. I know I send one of those out. The different benefits of working with you, really separate yourself. You know, what are the benefits, and be honest about, you know, what those are. Okay, so doing the property search, getting that set up so that they're getting the listings. You know, just have all this in here, you know, trying to figure out what their price range is, which is why, of course, you need myself, James, or Sean, depending on the area. The move-in date, you know, and working backwards from that date of what needs to be done to make that happen. Going over the transaction process, so that they are properly educated and they're ready for it. So, does everybody see where it says Pivot Sample Buyers Consult in the chat? No, Marcel, no.
No, I don't see it either.
So it shows that it was for everyone. From me to everyone. Kind of just scroll up, look for the time code of 3:46 p.m. and make sure that you have the chat set to everyone. Not there? Okay. All right, so let's do this. Does everybody see that link that I just posted in the chat? If you copy that link and put it in your URL of your browser, you should be able to download that. Okay, so stop share. All right. Okay, so, next week, I'm going to try to get a special guest on here, and we're going to try to kind of have a different special guest on every week. Everything is changing so much, so rapidly every day that it's more important now than ever, to stay on top of what is going on. This is also recorded, so, this is going to get posted on Facebook. So if you want to come back to it, you can, for, a couple of you that missed the beginning of it. Also, it's just something that we're seeing a lot, and Sean and James, if you guys haven't seen this, it's coming. I'm looking at one right now. It's a attestation form that by the 15th of this month, every single lender will require to be signed, that your buyers are stating that they are willing and able to make their mortgage payment, they have a job, they have income, and they do not plan to request forbearance. So if they request forbearance in the first 30 to 90 days, depending on the servicer on it, the originating lender has to buy that mortgage back. Guys like myself, Sean, and James have to pay back our commission check. We really don't want to do that. That keeps us from being able to provide for our families and provide for ourselves. It wouldn't be cool if you got a bill after 30 days because the person requested forbearance of you having to pay back your commission. And we don't want to have to do it either. So that's just something, so kind of be prepared. I mean, I'm talking about that with all my buyers, but if you get someone that asks, hey, I'm having to say that I'm not going to request forbearance and that I still have a job, I have income and all this, yes, there's very good reasons why they're getting that. Just kind of want to open it up for any questions that anybody has. So you can either unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you want to type it in the group chat. I'm not at the beach, by the way. Zoom gives you the ability to do a digital background. So this one is a video, so I'm not at the beach, but I wanted to feel like I'm not in this room right now, so.
Hey, Jeremy, I got a quick question for you.
Yes.
All right, so I just had a situation that has arisen. I know you guys have a lot of tighter stipulations on when it comes down to credit approval and all that good stuff, but have you heard anything about builders and their lenders just changing their rules a little bit due to the fact that they don't want to install their building? Because I have a guy that you and I've been working with, just got approved with PayB at 4.75% interest rate, but his credit score is low, like below 620.
Okay. Is it a build?
It's an inventory home.
Okay. And so, I mean, we're changing the requirements? Absolutely. Builders, lenders, there's not one that services their mortgage. They all sell their mortgages just like pretty much everybody does. There's only about a dozen or so companies that really truly are servicers. A lot of the servicing that we see is what's called sub-servicing, which is like, yeah, you're collecting payments. So when it all really boils down to it, those are who, set the requirements. So absolutely, anything that we're saying, anything that you're seeing from me, yeah, it's going to apply to them too.
Okay. I was shocked. I'm like, how the heck you got approved? Okay. All right. I just wanted to know if you guys would fall in the same category.
Yep. Yep. And so with that, really by the end of next week, it's going to be next to impossible to get an FHA, a VA, or a USDA mortgage. What I've been hearing for the past few weeks is that 680 credit score is going to be your minimum credit score on government loans. There's just too much risk with those. And that's because the servicer has to remit the payment to Ginnie Mae, regardless of whether or not the customer makes their payment. So, faced with the fact that experts, are estimating that 20% of all mortgage holders will request forbearance, any servicer that's looking at not only not receiving 20% of their payments, but then having to still remit that money to Ginnie Mae, that's going to put a lot of companies out of business. So government lending is going to continue to get tighter until we get out of this situation. Hopefully next month the country starts to open up, and hopefully within 60 days this CARES Act is literally thrown to the trash. If it don't, we will see an absolute collapse of the mortgage industry. And then we'll be on here and we'll all be drunk and we'll be talking about the fact that it's the apocalypse. I need you guys to laugh. That's funny.
There's no walking zombies yet.
That is funny. Yeah, where's the zombies? I'm missing the zombies. I was prepared for zombies, but none yet.
Yeah, man, I'm prepared for zombies too. Like, let's do that. I want to go around and shoot some zombies.
Yeah, maybe it takes a while for it to actually kick in. We'll see. We got time.
Right.
I'm sure everyone out here probably bought a gun within the last 90 days.
Anybody else have any questions or anything that you would like to see us kind of talk about and go over next week? Everybody's so shy. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. I'm going to put this on Facebook as well. So, feel free to share it, tag any of your realtor friends in it, whether they're here, locally in any of our areas or throughout the country. So, there's a lot of bad information out there, and we want to make sure that good information is out there. I really feel like that, assuming that the country does open back up, hopefully in no more than 60 days, that we are all poised that if we set those good habits in place now and we prepare for it, that we all are going to be poised to truly have a record 2020 and come out of this so much stronger than we entered it. So, I know that looking back on my life, and I'm sure all of you have the times in your life where you went through struggles, you went through trials, you went through difficult things. And if you're here and you're on this call, those things made you stronger. So yes, we're faced with a lot of uncertainty. We're faced with a lot of adversity, but it's given us an opportunity to grow and to get stronger. It's given me an opportunity to learn more about the mortgage market, the secondary market, how it's all impacted, how investors tie into the mortgage-backed securities and the MSRs and all of that stuff. So, stuff I all had like a general understanding of, but the level of understanding that I've acquired the last month, it's like getting a PhD in it. It's amazing. So I'm thankful for that opportunity in this. So, keep grinding, keep focused, Keep yourself disciplined. Like James was saying, stay away from the refrigerator. Good Lord, like I need to go to the gym so bad and like not eat for a week. But just keep on, keep doing it and keep talking to people. Keep having those conversations, and you'll come out, on the other end of this in a lot better position than you were 30 days ago. So we appreciate everybody coming on, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you guys. Have a good one. Thanks.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice
Bye-bye.
meeting you too. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.